So this week's episode of The Rising of the Shield here, we were definitely delivered the most entertaining, the most satisfactory, and just the most intense episode of the series to date. And what makes this episode work so well is that we've had 20 episodes to build up on our current emotions on the kingdom, the king, worst girl, or now we can say either bitch or slut, depending on if she's going on an adventure. It's really satisfying to see where this episode went, but for me personally, the reason it was so satisfying wasn't because of the punishment, the first of which was going to be death, and then the queen would offer her own life if Naofumi didn't kind of take it back and say, do something different. But it's really where Naofumi went, because if you really remember, we never really got to see Naofumi much before he turned into the very resentful person that he is now. But he never seemed like a bad person. He always seemed like a normal guy who wanted to be a little cliche at the beginning, but nothing about him screamed he wanted to see his enemies beheaded or he wanted to see them suffer. But depending on the hands that you're dealt, your personality will definitely change. And we're seeing that not only did his personality change after the horrible event, we're also seeing that his personality currently is changing because of his current party with his friends and those that he loves and cares about. And this is what I love, is that this punishment works on two sides. On the first side, Naofumi is right, beheading them is a one-and-done punishment, making them stripped away of all titles, power, rank, and authority, and renamed to trash, bitch, or slut, and pretty much being the laughingstock of your own country no longer could even be considered royalty, is a way worse punishment, and that is a better punishment for someone who's caused him so much suffering. But on the other hand, you're also seeing how Naofumi currently is. Naofumi isn't a bad person, he's just been dealt bad hands. Now we're seeing pretty solid hands be dealt to him, but the thing that really drove him to honestly act for the queen, because he's not stupid, he recognizes this isn't what she wants, she's been clenching her fists, but she's being the queen, she's being the ruler she has to be, saying that if you go against the country and do things to this nature, you will have to die. And I like how Naofumi, on one hand, throughout this entire episode, he's questioning, is this what I want? Is watching them die truly what I currently want and need? Maybe the Naofumi in episode 1, but currently is this the action that the current Naofumi actually wants? And the answer is no, that's not what he wants, especially seeing that a mother is willing to go this far for him, so then he comes up with this plan, which is a more satisfying punishment that doesn't make a mother kill her husband as well as one of her daughters, even if she does have some pretty negative feelings about them currently. That's what's so great, is it makes Naofumi both a good person, but also a very shady guy all at the same time. That's great, because Naofumi was never a bad person, just dealt bad hands, and now we're seeing what can happen when he gets good hands dealt. And the true kind of reward for him wasn't even them getting, their titles stripped away and removed from power, it's that the entire country now looks at Naofumi as a hero. No longer when he walks through those gates is he shunned as the devil, he's praised as the true hero of them all. Hell, the 3 church is gone, it's now the 4 hero church. You're seeing so much just everything that we've been building up to. And this is what I love, is that there's been so many people who are saying that, nothing makes sense. Why isn't the queen here? Why isn't the queen doing this? Why did the queen allow this? And it's fine not to enjoy something in the early stages and you stop watching it for that reason. However, if you do decide to continue on with a show and complain that things don't make sense until you see the full story play out, that is absolutely foolish. And as we can see, everything's explained. She just laid down all the info, a lot of stuff that I've been speculating over the months, and then just new information I wasn't even thinking of. Seeing that, yes, to no surprise, the heroes were supposed to be summoned, one to each country, and as she was gone, doing the diplomacy, the person she left in charge died in the first wave, which then allowed for worst king and worst girl to kind of seize the power and summon them all at once, which then just kind of screwed them all around. And then imagining what a queen would have to do knowing that your husband, the person you married, summoned all the heroes, leaving every other country for dead. How do you salvage that and not make them come and bombard your nation? Of course, it makes sense why she couldn't return and she had to send scouts and things of that nature. But you can see the damage that was done, and I like how it's not even just an apology. She recognizes, I cannot make up for all the torment you've gone, but I'll clear your name. I'll give you all the rewards. I'll give you anything you need, but please protect us. And I like how Naofumi is someone, he truly is the most heroic of all them. Not only does he recognize that, yeah, now this country is not too bad for him. He actually seeing like he could walk down the street, he could level up properly now. But he knows, after all the information that's been revealed, that there's more countries than just this that need his help, and he will go wherever the ways are and make sure that the people are safe. He recognizes that the easiest way for him to go home is to defeat the ways, but he recognizes that this is his duty. Even if this wasn't the duty that he originally wanted to sign up for, this is what he has to do. And I love just how satisfying everything playing out, because for the first time you can witness Naofumi talking to a very top political figure and just let your guard down, feeling like, holy shit, everything's gonna work out for once. Everything is going to be alright. And you didn't know exactly where the punishment was going. Was it going for death or something worse? And that's what I love, is just her laying out all of the facts, saying, this is why I wasn't around, this is why I am to blame that you got all this horrible shit upon you, but this is why I couldn't be here, but this is how I'm going to make up for it. And it just makes so much sense. All the past events click more and more. Why two people like this could do so much damage when it is a matriarchy and the queen should be the one in charge. How do you overthrow that? And you see how everything kind of crumbles around you and kind of creates the perfect storm to take a vendetta out. Because the king, for as horrible as he is, the one thing you have to give him credit for is he values family above all else. That's kind of what drives his hatred for the shield hero for whatever happened in the past. And I love how he is so shocked at what his daughter did, because hurting your own family is the last thing he would ever do. He would hurt anyone else, but never his family. And I love when you see Mine and just how she keeps trying to lie. But the queen is so perfect, she actually puts a temporary seal, a slave crest, on her daughter so she can't lie her way out of this. And watching her suffer more and more, on one hand, I'm like, I don't know if I enjoy this, but then on the other hand, the sick and twisted part of me was like, bitch got what she deserved. And I love how every moment where they're just trying to justify, like, no, this is ridiculous. How could a queen, how could a mother do something like this? And at every moment she tries to lie her way out of it, everything's exposed. There's one moment where she doesn't get burned by the crest, but every moment it just gets worse and worse for her. And she nearly kills herself in lying because she thinks she can. And I love it when the spear hero gets to put the crest on her, and she still lies. And the rape allegation is out the window. Everything that made Naofumi's life so horrible is out the window. And at no moment do you really see him smiling. It's more of a weight off his shoulders, but at the same time, the weight's still there because of what was going to come next. Knowing that a mother didn't actually want to do this, but she knew that for her country and for Naofumi to not abandon them, this is what she had to do and make sure something like this could never happen again. Witnessing how all this was playing out, just the dialogue, the weight of everyone's words, it was so satisfying and gripping watching all these weeks of build-up to one of the most satisfying episodes of anime I can recall in quite some time. If this would have happened in the first core, it would have honestly meant nothing to me. The queen coming in after a little bit of suffering and some heartache, and then what? Where do we go from here? Having 20 episodes of our main character's suffering, and sure, it's gotten easier for him over the months because he now has people he truly trusts in and cares for, but still, this has not been an easy journey for him. And at times you just say, why can't this finish? Why can't the queen just get here and fix this? And because we felt that emotion for so long, wishing that this could just end for him, give him a better tomorrow, kill the king, kill the worst princess, do something and make it stop. We've had weeks feeling that emotion. So to finally have it off our shoulders, it makes this episode feel so goddamn flawless. It wasn't even a visual spectacle. The best moments in terms of the visual presentation was just the facial reactions and just the shock from disgust to pain to agony to just torment and happiness. Like, that's where the visuals really pop, but for the most part, it is characters talking. The reason this episode works so well is not only just that the script kind of clicks so perfectly, it's that the voice actors sell their performances at hand. The hero's almost confused, like, how could you do this, to holy shit, this was happening all along, but I'm not to blame. Because that's just how they are. The queen putting on the face of a ruler who knows what she has to do, but a mother as well as a wife wishing she didn't have to. Now Fumi's just confusion of, is this what he wants, to, I'm going to play the part and make them suffer in a different way for two different reasons. Like, all the little voices in this episode just sold what was actually happening at hand. This was an episode that you didn't need a lot of music blasting in your ear. You didn't need a lot of flashy animation or art to make you feel like it's a gripping episode. You just needed passionate voice actors and a solid script to make it feel like what we just witnessed is some of the most satisfying content we've seen in quite a while. This could have served as a season finale, and if we never got a season 2, I would have been like, you know what better way to go off than this? Our hero finally being able to leave those gates with actually support backing him. But knowing that we have 4 more episodes, and you know this will get a second season at the very least, it seems like the team is very hopeful for a second season, it's really exciting because the world is finally opening up to Naofumi in a way that it should. I'm so excited to see what the other countries will look like. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with the other heroes and where that's going to go, because there's so many areas to explore, especially before this season wraps up, and just where the future ways will go, where the queen will go with how she'll continue to support Naofumi, and how Naofumi will either push back or really buy into her and actually give her his kind of everlasting trust. It's really interesting where they can go with this, because it is such a fascinating dynamic. It's so satisfying. All you have to say is long live the queen, because this is definitely the best character in this series in terms of what she just did, and we just met her. There was even some interesting little information about Naofumi and his party, because he did get a new shield, the Wrath Shield, and it's interesting to see just how devastating that shield is. Not only did it almost kill him, it literally knocked him out for a month, and if it wasn't for the queen being there and just all the medical treatment, he would have died. The reason for his party not getting the curse alongside him was actually pretty interesting, learning that KFC Queen is doing some pretty good for them, so even if something like this happens, hopefully they won't have to suffer alongside Naofumi. I've seen some people say, like, why can Naofumi continue to use these shields when we know they're devastating? And they almost forget that situations like this occur where he does get knocked out of commission and hurts himself in the process. Even if we have seen him use these shields a few different times, every time he uses it, it does feel like it gets worse and worse, especially as was seen with this shield. And something I love is how you have a character like Mine who is a pathological liar. That's who she is. And I've seen some people say, like, what's the point of her? Why is she like this? Why is she such a horrible person? And people almost forget that some people are just bad. Some people are just horrible people. And especially if you're born into royalty with everything in the palm of your hands, sometimes that's not enough. You grow more and more greedy, and that personality becomes so toxic that as you see, you get ripped of your title, and it makes you into an even worse person. The king is a horrible person himself. He let his own selfish reasons drive his hatred to cloud his vision, but you can give him credit for being someone who loves and respects his family. For Mayan, she's just a pathological liar. In a show like this, you need a good villain like that. Someone who is just a bad person. She doesn't justify her actions. That's just her clouded vision, and I absolutely love what she does to this story overall. This was definitely my favorite episode of The Rising of the Shield Hero. My favorite episode not only just for the content at hand, but also the voice acting and what it did for all the characters in terms of just the passion overall, from rage, sorrow, to just what am I actually feeling right now, and that's absolutely incredible. This was an amazing episode of The Rising of the Shield Hero, and I assume there's going to be a lot of happy campers to just what happened in this episode, but for everyone who did watch, source material readers, or anime originals like myself, what did you think of this week's episode? Did you love it as much as myself? Let me know. And be sure to like the video if you did enjoy, and also hit that subscribe button if you haven't been new. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.